Smart growth means so many different things to different people, and in fact many states have adopted entire smart growth programs without ever using the word smart growth. Pennsylvania, for example, calls it Growing Greener Pennsylvania. Most importantly though, it's about creating livable communities, walkable communities, and sustainable communities. And by that what we mean is reducing the sprawl, reducing the over-reliance on the individual automobile, and creating a sense of place where people want to be as opposed to immediately driving off and going elsewhere. With all the different names, it has caught on for a variety of reasons, and I would like to say it was because of the great leadership of Smart Growth America and Maryland's model and so on. But what is happening is that forces now, like the cost of gasoline, like the global climate change and all, are making people think about what are alternate ways of doing it. When they start looking about these alternate ways, invariably they come up with their own smart growth program. Attitudes have changed dramatically. In fact, at one point, just a decade ago, when I was chairman of the National Governors Association, they adopted a policy position and did not want to use the word smart growth at all. And I had some governors, especially from the western states, say, listen, if we go back home and start talking about smart growth, it's politically controversial, it'll be a problem. Ironically, we just finished a major meeting in Wyoming, of all states, in which they called people together to start a statewide smart growth program to protect the great open spaces and the great sky and so on of Wyoming. Montana is doing the same thing in order to protect the great forest and of Montana and all, because what's happening now is they're starting to build around the national parks. So who wants to go into a national park, you know, sort of there's a line here, but all of a sudden you're in. And so the very states that just a decade ago said don't dare use that word, now are calling 500 and 600 people together at a time and saying, let's start our own smart growth program. Regionalism, thinking regionally, acting regionally, has become so important. And by the way, I must emphasize both thinking regionally and acting regionally, because to some extent, the planning and the thinking and the drawing of lines for a rail line or for some type of new housing plan or whatever is the easy part. The actual difficult part is, okay, how on a regional basis are we going to build this, or are we going to create this economy, or are we going to solve some of the problems? That's the tough part. But we are a metropolitan nation, meaning a regional nation. It's no longer valid to really think in terms of, well, there's a central city, the suburbs, and the rural areas. 85% of our population now lives in a clearly defined region. And so the challenges that face us are regional challenges and are only going to be solved by regional plans and regional implementation. There are several different components to really adopting a regional, it's more of a mindset than necessarily one program or one thing. The different components in my mind is, first of all, you need some advocacy groups. You need groups that clearly understand it and are willing to go out and advocate for this. You also need the active involvement of the business community. Business community can probably understand these issues better than just about any group. In most cases where there's been a great movement forward, there's the emergence of a political or community leader or two that really does it. The mayor here, for example, has taken this position in a big way. And the fact that the mayors are meeting here and all is part of it. In addition to which, you normally need one or two what would I say, physical or concrete things that people can see, and they can see the results. So it's not just about maybe police cooperating on a regional basis or about greater emphasis on regional economic development or something of that type, but it is about solving some major problem. The first breakthrough in most regions is that of transit.